Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents December 1941, 12 Days That Began a World War, by Evan Mawdsley, narrated by Jonathan Cowley. Introduction. This is a new war, with Russia victorious, Japan in and America in up to the neck. Winston Churchill was speaking with his personal doctor, Sir Charles Wilson. The two men stood on the open deck of a British battleship, ploughing through a heavy Atlantic swell. The date was the 16th of December 1941, and the Prime Minister and his party of statesmen and soldiers were 3 days into their voyage across the Atlantic. Their destination was Chesapeake Bay, from where they would travel on to Washington for momentous meetings. Some moments in history are pivotal, but very few are pivotal on a global scale. The first days of December 1941 can truly be called world-shaking. 2 weeks earlier, on the 1st of December, the Allies had amounted to the British Empire and Soviet Russia. In reality, these old enemies were more companions in misfortune than allies, and their situation was grim. For 2 years, Hitler's Wehrmacht had won victory after victory in Europe. For 5 months, his troops had hacked out unbroken success in Russia. German armies had now reached the outskirts of Moscow and Leningrad and seemed set to plunge into the Caucasus. Pessimists thought the Red Army had suffered total defeat. Optimists saw it as a spent force, able to undertake only desperate defense. Britain was besieged and bankrupt, its oceanic trade threatened by the U-boats, and some of its vital Middle Eastern possessions under threat. France and much of Europe were occupied. Italy and some smaller states had thrown in their lot with Nazi Germany. There seemed no conceivable way for British forces to set foot on the continent again, let alone shake Hitler's hold there. In Asia, meanwhile, an aggressive militarist Japan seemed poised to pick off Britain's Asian colonies. Indeed, it was on this first day of December that the Imperial Conference in Tokyo approved for the final time the decision for war and the deployment of attack forces. The United States was still not directly involved in hostilities in either hemisphere. Many Americans opposed fighting a foreign war, even against Hitler. President Franklin D. Roosevelt could have no confidence that Congress would vote to declare war on the aggressor states, and he had no wish to take a divided nation into battle. This book is about Monday, the 1st of December, and the 11 days that followed it. By Friday, the 12th of December, Churchill's new war had taken shape. By then it was clear to the more far-sighted leaders on both sides of the conflict that Nazi Germany's first campaign against Russia, Operation Barbarossa, had failed. The Soviet Union had not been overthrown in a few months, as Hitler and his generals had expected. From the 6th of December onwards, the Red Army had mounted sudden and successful counterattacks in front of Moscow. Hitler's Grey Legions proved not to be, after all, invincible. The new British Army gained its first full-scale victory against the Panzers in North Africa, overwhelming Rommel and driving his German and Italian forces back from Tobruk and the Egyptian frontier. In these same days, too, America was plunged into the European War. Above all, on the 11th of December, Nazi Germany declared war on the United States, not the other way around. Hitler made his declaration furthermore after Japan had delivered surprise attacks against America and British territory. The people of the United States were suddenly committed, up to the neck, to a global war effort. Winston Churchill famously recalled the night he heard the news of the Japanese attack. "I went to bed and slept the sleep of the saved and thankful." Events both in the Pacific and in Russia would indeed transform Britain's chances of surviving and even of overcoming Hitler and the Third Reich. By the 12th of December, the outlines of a grand alliance were becoming visible. On that day, Foreign Secretary Anthony Eden arrived in Russia for
Sample complete. Ready to continue?